back to my channel and welcome to another What's for Dinner. Alright, so my style of What's for Dinner videos from here on out is going to be kind of my old style What's for Dinner videos, and I think you guys really like them. I like filming them. Basically, I just film everything we eat throughout the week. That might be cooking a super easy recipe, that might be making a bowl of cereal, that could be picking up pizza, eating out, or like I said, sharing a whole entire recipe with y'all, because we do a mixture of all of that throughout the week, and I think that's kind of what most people do, so that's what I'm going to show y'all. So if you're interested in seeing just what a normal family eats throughout the week, maybe to give you some inspiration, or maybe even just something that sounds good, something you forgot about that you want to have for dinner that night, then this video is for you. I would love to have you subscribe and be a part of my channel. I plan to keep continuing to do these What's for Dinners in this style, so I would love it if you'd be a part of my little family here on YouTube. So anyway, let's get on into these What's for Dinner meal ideas. So we're starting off this week with a easy cheeseburger skillet. This was really good, really simple, and really quick on those nights when you just gotta get something on the table. And it's a little bit more healthy than the box kind. So anyway, I'm just starting with browning up 1 pound of ground beef. You do want to make sure you drain this if your meat has more fat content than say 90-10. So I did do that, just didn't show it in the video. Once my meat is almost browned, I'm adding in about a cup of chopped mushrooms. You can feel free to leave out the mushrooms or onion if you do not like those, but I am adding in a half of chopped onion. And next I'm going to season it up. We like to use the Weber Gourmet Burger seasoning. It's really good, but again, you can use whatever kind of seasoning that you like. Next, you are going to add in 2 tablespoons of ketchup and 1 tablespoon of mustard. You really can't taste these in the final recipe. Like, you'd never just say, oh, there's ketchup and mustard in here. It just kind of gives it some flavor, but after all, it is cheeseburger skillet. So add those in, as well as 2 cups of dry elbow noodles, and then you're going to add 2.5 cups of chicken broth. If you see me adding water, I just used chicken bouillon this night. Same thing, but use chicken broth or beef broth even if you have it. So next you just want to cover this, and you're going to cook those elbow noodles until they are al dente, which is about 7 to 10 minutes. Keep stirring often because those noodles can stick to the bottom of your pan, and you might need to add a little bit more liquid if they look too dry. Once they're cooked, you're going to add in a cup or 2 of sharp cheddar cheese. Stir that up, and that is it. Could not be more simple, and you have a meal that even picky eaters will love. I serve this with some kind of vegetable or a side salad, and that makes for a really quick and easy meal. Also, go ahead and taste it and see if you would like to add any other seasonings in. Add in a good bit of black pepper just because we really like it. Look how creamy and cheesy and delicious this looks. I just happened to serve mine with some canned corn this night, which is really kind of rare for me to do, but I just thought my kids would enjoy it, and they did. So we had this cheeseburger pasta skillet and some corn on the side. Starting on supper tonight. If you are Southern, then you know. If you're not Southern, you probably don't know, and I'm not sure you want to know. So I'm going to leave it at that, but we're having breakfast for dinner. It's snowing outside, and whenever it's snowing or raining, it's always made me want to cook breakfast for dinner. So I'm doing this. I'm going to do some grits, scrambled eggs, and maybe some toast. We also have some leftover pancakes in the fridge that Darren made, his homemade recipe. Maybe I'll get him to share that with us soon. So that's what I'm working on for dinner. So this is supper tonight. A few pieces of toast, scrambled eggs, grits, and liver mush. So that's what's for dinner tonight. Hey y'all, so it's Friday night. We're having pizza from Marco's. I was gonna fix tacos tonight, but then I just got a craving for pizza, so that's what we did. Darren and I got a pizza with ground beef, pepperoni, onion, jalapeno, and pineapple. I made some homemade ranch on the side, and the girls got cheese, and that's our dinner for Friday night. On this night, we just decided to do a little last minute kind of family birthday party for Darren, and he wanted to grill smash burgers, which I can't remember if we shared this recipe, but he may have to do this. Anyway, they're so good. They're like griddle cheeseburgers. And then my mom brought this really delicious kale salad. I did not expect to like it, but it was so good. It had feta cheese, craisins, pecans. I'll have the recipe for that down below. So we had kale salad and these cheeseburgers, and it was delicious. And then for dessert, I made him a homemade German chocolate cake, and I have filmed a whole recipe by itself showing exactly how I made this. I will have it linked below if you want to see how to make it. Okay, so next up, Darren was smoking us up some ribs. I made the side dishes, which were sauteed green beans and roasted potato wedges. These potato wedges were so flavorful. We absolutely loved them. So I'm just mixing up all of my seasonings together in my little measuring cup here. I used some Parmesan cheese, some paprika, some Italian seasoning, some garlic powder, a little onion powder, and salt and pepper. And again, feel free to change up these seasonings depending on what you and your family like. I will have the recipe that I used either linked or typed out below. Okay, so I just had about 4 or 5 russet potatoes. I gave them a really good scrub because you are going to leave the skin on. And so you just want to slice them in half long ways. And then I like to do mine in about thirds. That's how big I like for our wedges to be. You can do them however big or small you want. So next I just popped them on a baking sheet, drizzled them with a little bit of olive oil, and then sprinkled all of that seasoning mixture all over my potatoes. And next you just kind of toss them around, make sure you get all that seasoning on there. It seems like a lot of seasoning, but it's so good. You want all those flavors on there. So I even kind of took each little wedge and kind of mashed them into the seasoning that was on the pan, just making sure I wasn't leaving any seasoning behind. And then you'll bake these at 400 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes. I baked mine for closer to 45 just because they were so big. And also I did flip them over halfway through, and then towards the end I noticed my Parmesan cheese was browning a little bit, so I just covered the whole thing with foil and kept baking them. Okay, next up I'm going to show y'all how I cook our fresh green beans. So we're going to start with about 1 pound of fresh green beans, and we're going to blanch them. We're going to bring a large pot of salted water to a boil, and then we're going to place our green beans in here, and we're only going to cook them for about 2 to 3 minutes, just enough to cook them a little bit, but we're not going to overcook them, and it'll keep that nice bright green color. And then I just keep my bowl that I chopped mine up in. I put some ice water in here, and then I remove all of my green beans after that 2 or 3 minutes, put them in the ice bath, and that immediately stops the cooking, so you just keep that really fresh bright color. So while my green beans are sitting in that ice bath, I'm going to start a large skillet over here with a couple tablespoons of olive oil and about a tablespoon of minced garlic. Also, I'm going to add a whole chopped onion to the pan. If you don't like onion, leave that part out. And I'm going to saute the onion until they're caramelized and translucent. And I just poured a little splash of white wine in there to kind of deglaze my pan, get all of that nice yummy stuff off the bottom there. And then once my onions are a little bit caramelized, I'm going to add my green beans back to the pan. And this is where you can cook them as long as you want until you get them as tender as you would like. I like to cook ours about 10 to 15 minutes. I don't really like them to be really mushy or really soft, but I also don't like them to be really crisp. So about 10 to 15 minutes usually works for us. And then you can also add in your seasonings. I actually went ahead and added a tablespoon of butter and a good amount of salt and pepper. so when your potatoes are soft when they're finished baking, I top mine with a little bit of fresh chopped parsley. So we got the ribs that Darren grilled. I'm trying to talk him into doing like a grilling YouTube channel and whatever else manly stuff he does, so tell him he needs to. Anyway, we got the ribs, we got the sauteed green beans, and then those Parmesan potato wedges. So this is our dinner tonight. Alright y'all, that's going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that you got some really good inspiration and maybe a recipe or two. Let me know down below what you guys are having for dinner tonight. I hope you're all doing great, and we will see y'all in the next one. Bye y'all.